You are now listening to Unrelenting Humans podcast.
His name is Fresno. I'm a criminologist, so he was supposed to be in my office, and she adopted him as a best friend, and they would dance. And so that little picture inspired the first children's book that I just have. I have it available for pre-order now, and it's coming out in October officially. But it's The Girl Who Dances with Skeletons, My Friend Fresno. And it celebrates the fact that what should scare us, which all of us have many things that scare us, right? So for Reagan, this skeleton that should have terrified her was beautiful and special to her. And so through that, by trying to understand the skeleton, she developed a best friend, right? So if we looked at life, all the things that scare us, and we got to know them or got comfortable with the uncomfortable, it could be really beautiful, right? What comes out of that. And so celebrating differences, loving yourself, realizing we're better together, no matter what color, religion, education level, whatever. And, I don't know that we're conditioned to always think like that, but it's like when you go through trauma and you start to realize grief doesn't discriminate, we all have things that have broken us and things that have changed us and things that we struggle with, and to not be empathetic to that with other people when I need the world to be empathetic with me. Do you know what I mean? It's something that's really changed my mission. So now I really want to take Fresno and use that to not only celebrate Reagan as different and beautiful and special, but to help other kids that might, have a learning disability or might be from a marginalized religion or, these different things, to realize you are not different and weird. Different doesn't mean weird. Different means beautiful and special and something to be celebrated.
Yes.
And, I'm an educator at heart. I'm an advocate at heart. I will always be those things. So I'm like, I could use Fresno in elementary schools at back to school or, Red Ribbon Week or all these different things to teach kids we're magical as ourselves. And then when we get together and embrace our differences, my God, how powerful could we be? And so I don't know.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
I really, really do.
I honestly have handled Buddy's death in such, some people will be like, you did? I handled it in such a beautiful way compared to the way I handled the loss of the babies. And to me, if someone's a mom who's listening, that feeling when you get a positive sign on a pregnancy test, the dreams start, right? The dreams started when you're trying, right? But 4 different times I saw a positive on a pregnancy test. A couple times I had seen a sonogram picture, and started the adventure of, belly pictures and these types of things. And so for every single one of those babies, I had a plan, a mission, a name, like all of these things that we wanted to happen for that baby. And Reagan knew about some of them, like, oh, there's a baby in mom's belly. And so the first one, it's weird because every single one of them was so radically different.
Yeah.
The first one this sounds so silly, but I was kind of like, okay, let's be practical here. 1 in 4 women has a miscarriage. Okay. So I'm now contributing to the pool of statistics, right? I'm a geek and nerd. So I'm like, okay, well, 1 in 4. Good. There's mine. And now, like, I hope, that's done. And naively, I was like, well, it's not going to happen again, And so the first one I had lost naturally, and I was able to put it into some kind of bizarre scientific perspective. And then the second one, I was further along. We had started taking belly pictures. I had seen the sonogram of the heartbeat. I had met my mom at the airport with a sign that says baby number 2 on the way, arrival time, this and that. And so when I started spotting, I did not start spotting. I went in for a normal checkup. And so I actually told my husband, don't come because we've already seen the baby. And that's the biggest hurdle. So don't worry about it. So I went in like happy go lucky, let's look at the baby and see how great I'm doing. And she couldn't find the baby. And I should have been plenty far along. Now, it had been like 4 weeks since I had last seen the baby or whatever. Yeah. And there was nothing. And she was so quiet. And I said, whoa, like what's going on? And she's like, hold on. So she did a vaginal exam with the ultrasound, and she was like, the baby passed away several weeks ago. And she's like, that's why I couldn't see it, on through your
Oh my
belly because
God.
the baby's been deceased since probably like shortly after we checked last. So there was like a horrific monster feeling. This is probably like so traumatic for anyone listening. There was a monster feeling. I felt like I had trapped this little dead baby inside my body and it had not expelled it naturally, which is what had happened with the first time. And so I literally I was terrified. I hated myself. I felt disgusting. And I was like, just get it out. Like, please get it out. And they're trying to calm me down. And, they were like, well, we have options. You can take this medicine at home. You can wait to see if you pass it naturally, although you haven't, which concerns us. Or you can have a DNC. And so I elected to have the surgery. And I remember the entire time to the hospital, I just cried to my husband. And I said, like, I don't want to do this. Like, I do not want to do this. And I just kept thinking, like, I'm literally taking a baby out of I hate this. Right. And so I was at this first surgery, it was just pure horror. And I kept begging them, like, please check again, make sure the baby's not here, and they're like, Ashley, there's no way that baby's alive, and I made them do another sonogram. I made them do all kinds of stuff because I was like, I needed them to make sure. And there was just like a mother part of me that needed to know that they were right. And then the third one I passed naturally. And instead of it being horror, it was just like anger of no way, this a third time this is happening to us. Like, Jesus, you got to be kidding. And then the fourth time, my husband had actually just gone on a business trip and I went to the doctor and I felt really good. I could feel like I'm very sensitive. So I could feel everything in my body was changing and I was so happy, and it was dead. And it was the same kind of thing. I was far enough along to where I needed a DNC and my body wasn't taking care of it. And I remember calling him and saying, like, don't even bother coming home because I'm going in for surgery in the morning and I just don't even care anymore. What? And he was like, what? God bless him. He was the most sensitive, amazing human ever. He was like, Ashley, what are you talking about? And I remember I just had a friend. I was like, can you just drive me to the doctor tomorrow? And I was almost just numb at that point. Yeah. And it was just wildly different for each one. And then, like I was saying, I taught through all 4 miscarriages, like actively miscarrying in the classroom. So like I'm teaching and I'm trying to, like, students are asking me like what readings they have. And I'm literally thinking, like, I think I'm passing my child right now. Like, this is crazy. And I was so obsessed with my career and that I didn't want anyone to know that I might be, less than perfect. So I was doing that, or I would have a DNC and the next morning I'd be at work, and these kinds of things. Yeah. So finally at miscarriage 4, after that surgery, I remember just being so broken and angry and numb. And I told Buddy, I was like, I'm not going to work this week. I can't do this. And there were months that he would just say, like, I just want my wife back. Like, what do I do? Just tell me what you need me to do. And that was kind of where we got to this place of, like, work wasn't making me happy. You got to remember, like, we had a nursery set up again for a baby. We're in this house that we thought we were going to raise 2 kids in. And so him saying, Ash, it's okay to start over. Like, we could leave this place and start fresh. And there was just something so attractive and terrifying about that I said, yeah, let's do it.